Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Starting Out with SEO. My name's Jill, and I'm going to be facilitating the webinar today, and presenting it is Bonnie D'Amico. She is with our marketing department, and she's going to take you through some of the points of SEO. Just a couple of things before we get started. First of all, this is one of our shorter webinars, so it will be about 20 to 25 minutes long. And then at the end, we will do some Q&A. So if you think of some questions along the way, go ahead and type those into the box that you see in your GoToWebinar window, and we will answer as many of those as we can at the end of the webinar. Just so you know, in case anything happens, Bonnie's in our Barcelona office right now. She's working from Barcelona today, so she's calling in to help us with the webinar, but she is one of our marketing people here at Vertical Response. So with that, I'm going to hand over the control to Bonnie, and she is going to take you through some great points on SEO.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bonnie, and I'm a marketing manager here at Vertical Response. And today we're going to talk a little bit about starting out with SEO and some tasks that you can do. So what is SEO? Search engine optimization is the process of improving visibility of a website in natural search engine results. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of hype over SEO the last 10 years. It's definitely grown in more popularity. I think slowly people are starting to know what it is, or at least have a basic understanding. But one of the reasons why it's so popular is because it's a free or low-cost way to bring additional traffic or visibility to your website. Okay, so let me show you an example of an SEO or a natural search result, which is also known as an organic search result. Here I did a screenshot of a Google search. Up in the search bar, I typed in email creation, and we have a bunch of different results here. So I've highlighted in blue, and also where the blue-green arrows are pointing, those are natural or organic search results. As you can see, Vertical Response came up to number 1 and number 2 here. And then also above that in yellow and to the right, those are paid listings. That's an example of a natural search result.
So Bonnie, by natural search result, you mean these are the non-paid results that come in, right?
Exactly. I highlighted them in blue.
Right. So the paid ones are at the top, and then the natural ones that weren't paid for are the ones that are in blue. Got it. Thanks.
And the paid ones are also on the right, but we're talking today about the listings that come up that are natural. So they don't cost anything to get there. It just takes just a lot of work and tweaking to your content, and a lot of consistency, and there's some popularity involved too. So we can talk a little bit more about that. So there are many aspects that make up SEO. However, we're just going to talk about 3 very basic steps. These 3 steps have stayed pretty consistent through the years, even though SEO changes over time. The first one is we want to make sure that your site is search engine friendly. We want to make sure that Google, Yahoo, Bing can easily crawl and pick up the content that's on your site and just make it friendly and readable. The second one we're going to talk about is on-page optimization. These are tasks that we can do to each page of your website so that you're maximizing the content and maximizing the information that's on your site to make it more SEO friendly. Number 3 is link building. This is a very key process of SEO, and it's mostly about popularity. Okay, so we can get started. So number 1, we want to ensure that your site is search engine friendly. Here are a few do's and don'ts to your site. What we don't want to do is you don't want to use text in any images. We want to make sure that all your text is in HTML or HTML format and that it's actually on a page and not programmed in an image, because the search engine robots can't actually read a JPEG or a GIF. It can only read the text that's on the page. For that very same reason, we also want to make sure that you aren't creating an entire website in Flash. Although Google can read some sites in Flash, you don't want to create your entire site in Flash. You really want to have text that's on a page because it's readable and indexable content by all the major search engines. You also don't want to put a bulk of your content in frames or iframes. I'm not a fan of those at all. You also don't want to overstuff your page with keywords or words that you think people are using to find your website. You want to build your website with the user in mind, with your reader in mind, and make sure that everything makes perfect sense, but is still information rich and keyword rich. Another big no-no is duplicate content. There are some people that like to basically take the same content and regenerate it through different websites or even duplicate websites, all pointing back to one site that will sell the widget or whatever it is they're trying to sell. That's a big no-no. You always want to use fresh, unique, rich content. Another big no-no is called cloaking, and this is what people do to deceive their viewers. So an example of cloaking would be maybe building your website in the description and the title tags, saying that you're giving away free money trees, and then when you click through the link, you're actually selling blue paint. So that was an excellent example of what not to do. You want to make sure that all the information that you put out there is actually what you do and what you offer, and that you're upfront and honest. So as for things to do, we want to create a unique page for each topic, so that you kind of have a theme for each page and some just a target of keywords for each page. You always want to create fresh, informative, keyword-rich content, and you want to make sure that all of the pages within your site are connected by at least one link. You can accomplish this through a sitemap or just making sure that all the pages link to one another. Say you have a great new web page and it's not on the navigation bar, it's not in the sitemap, it's not linked from anywhere else, chances are search is not going to pick it up, Google's not going to find it, or Yahoo, unless someone else or another page within your site is linking to it. So you want to make sure that all your pages are connected by at least one link. Okay, now we're going to go on to on-page optimization. These are tasks that you can do for each individual page on your website so that you can improve your chances of visibility in search. Okay, so we're going to have a chat about keywords. Keywords are the words that users type into a search box at a search engine. If I put this red boot here as an example, let's just say you had an online boutique and you wanted to sell these red boots. So here are some of the keyword possibilities I just came up with for these red boots. I put boots, red suede boots, platform boots. You can put in the official product name or the official brand name, and there are many other keywords you can go with these boots. And what you want to do is you want to work with these keywords throughout your web page copy. So on the next slide here, we're going to talk about title tags. And as you can see, with the two arrows there, there's one along the top, and then there's one right above the boot. I pointed out, you can see they put some keywords in their title tags. You always want to do this. You always want to make sure that you have a keyword or two, or even a variation of your keyword in your title tags. This is one of the most important and sometimes very often neglected thing that you can do for your website. But it's well known in the industry. Google has said it many times. You want to make sure you always have a complete title tag. On the next slide here, I gave an example of the HTML code for a title tag, so you know what this would look like on the back end on the HTML page, and I spelled it all out there. You always want to include at least one keyword. Another tip is you want to place your desired keyword as close to the beginning as possible. You want to do this because it carries more weight. Also include a variation of the keyword if it makes sense. And another good idea is to not go over more than 70 characters. So another way to work with keywords on your actual page is to put them in header tags. Header tags are pretty much the bolded headline for the page or for your product. Of course, these H1 tags are listed on the back end. It's not, your users don't see the H1 tag. Your users will see what I highlighted in blue there. But that's basically telling search that this is an important topic of the page. So you always want to include at least 1 or 2 keywords in the header tag, as shown here. Depending on how much content you have on the page, say you have an article, you also want to include keywords in your subheaders as well. Maybe it could be a different keyword or a variation of the first keyword. Okay, so another way to work with your keywords on your web page is by putting it throughout your copy. So I use a different example here. I found an article on how to boil an egg. You always want to use
That's a nice article.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to pick something simple. Okay, so you want to use the keywords. In this case, it was boil an egg. This article ranked very high for I think it was either how to boil an egg or boil an egg. As you can see, they used it in the header. So that one, I looked, that was in an H1 tag, and they also used it at the bottom of the copy here, and as well as the title for the image. As always, when practicing good SEO, you always want to be as descriptive and as informative as possible. Create unique content. Do not stuff the content with keywords. Do not overdo it with keywords. You want your content to make really good sense and be informative. So always keep in mind the user experience here. So another factor in on-page optimization is actually what we call image tag alt attributes. What this is if an image doesn't come up or it's broken or if somebody has their images disabled or if maybe they just can't pull up the image because they have really slow bandwidth. This basically is the content. This is the information that you put in the HTML code that tells the search engines what this image is about. So I use this image here of someone having lunch in Formentera overlooking the Mediterranean. I use this as an example if I was posting for a travel blog or a travel site and just wanted to put in as much information as possible without overdoing it. So, 4, 6, 8 words describing the picture is totally reasonable. Google also, and the other search engines also uses this information when doing an image search. So it's possible your images can come up here when looking up any of these keywords. As always, be descriptive. Do not keyword stuff. Do not overdo it. Okay, next we're going to talk about description tags. Description tags actually, as shown here in the example, this is our event marketing page. Description tags show up under the URL there where it says promote and sell tickets with event marketing. This will come up in search. It's the 3rd line down and 4th line down. And it's important to know that this actually doesn't help affect your ranking, but it is really important because we still want the user to click through. This is basically your sales copy. And of course, the more users that click through, the higher click-through rate you're going to have. So it does indirectly kind of help your rank. If you're consistently showing the search engines that, maybe your number 8 listing is doing better than a number 6 listing, then it maybe over time, if your click-through rate was twice than what another listing above you was, you can actually move up with just an improved click-through rate. So even though it doesn't affect rank directly, it indirectly kind of affects rank. So that is your description tag. Give them enough information, entice them to click, and make sure it's relevant. And there's 160 character maximum is what you want to go here. You can go over, but it's gonna get cut off. Next is link building. Link building is another huge aspect of SEO. Links can deliver relevant traffic, but can also help with ranking. Think of quality links pointing to your site like votes. In the industry, they also call this link juice.
Link juice?
So, link juice, yeah. So basically, higher, like global popular sites that are popular globally, or just larger sites with many readers, highly trafficked sites. If they are respectable sites, well-known brands, have lots of traffic, if they're pointing to your site, it will carry more link juice than, let's say, an unknown site or an unknown directory that just has a listing somewhere. So link building is very important. You want to basically work with as many respectable and fair playing sites as you can. We're going to talk about a couple of more things with link building. My biggest recommendation is to never buy links. If you want to get penalized and removed from search, you'll go somewhere and buy 10,000 backlinks for $50. If you ever see those ads, just close them, ignore them, run. Link buying schemes at all. I've seen very large brands get penalized over this. I've seen smaller sites, a legal site that I worked with in the past, they got penalized over it before I worked with them. They did buy some links. They thought they were doing the right thing, and it actually took several months for them to be able to be included again in Google. So do not buy links whatsoever. There are plenty of other ways that we're going to talk about right now to get great inbound links that carry a large amount of link juice. Next slide. So this is very basic, but you want to make sure that you're doing this. You want to make sure you're listed in all of the main local directories, Google Places, Yahoo, Bing, and Yelp. I'm a huge fan of Yelp. You want to make sure that your listings are complete, full, as much information as possible. I even recommend for people to include neighborhoods in the description instead of just the city where you're at in your description. Go ahead and list the neighborhood that you're at. Someone might be searching for that. And what's great about these listings now, let's say if you were doing a search in Google for, San Francisco pizza, you're going to see Google Places listings come up higher before anything else. You'll have a map there. You can get directions from there. So you want to make sure that you're included in all of these. They're all free. Just be included there. So the next slide is you want to also be listed in as many niche and topic-specific locations as possible. So I just picked restaurants for an example. So if you were a restaurant, some of the places where you can go ahead and list your restaurant for free are TripAdvisor, Menutopia, Restaurant Guide, OpenTable, Urban Spoon. There were a couple of dozen others that I found as well. Definitely take advantage of these free opportunities. Be as complete as possible. If they let you put in images, put your keywords in the image names, put your keywords in the copy, make sure you have a link pointed to your website. You want to just put in many of your keywords and information as possible and just have it all connected. Next slide. Also participate in communities without spamming. Some ideas would be social site user profiles, forum signatures, and blog comments. Notice I did put without spamming. Definitely don't spam sites. If you have a comment to add somewhere, or if someone just happens to be looking for something that you offer in your favorite online forum, think of it more as being helpful instead of just, here's my link, buy this. You'll be surprised. There are many opportunities out there. I see them actually every day while perusing some of my favorite forums. I gave an example right there of someone's link signature. That link right there by Gary, it says event link. That one carries link juice as well. And then down here at the tip at the bottom, I basically listed some information about the link attribute nofollow. I know this is a beginner course, but if you've heard anything about a no-follow, or if you find out that a website has a no-follow link attribute, that basically means that it doesn't carry link juice, which is what we were talking about before. However, if there is a good linking opportunity, even if it doesn't carry link juice, if it's going to deliver relevant and target traffic, that's a good thing. The more traffic is always a good thing, and the popularity of your site still does have an indirect effect on your SEO, whether that link carries link juice or not. Okay, next, this is my absolute favorite way of link building, and this is basically to create a blog or just create information-rich and keyword-rich content, useful content, unique content, and then go ahead and spread the word and create awareness in different communities. I just used an example here from a design and art website of an article they wrote on 5 tips to photograph plain windows. I just thought it was really unique, and it's artsy. It's not the same old headline you would see when reading photography articles every single day, and they tweeted it. I looked not long later, and you can see that they've had 54 tweets, 1 dig, some buzzes, some likes, and all that is great. It's sending social signals to your site. It's sending traffic to your website. It's basically showing Google that you have people coming to your website from all these different respected communities, and that you are relevant in relation to these keywords, or in relation to the topic, or whatever it is that you offer or provide. This never seems to die. Creating useful content, it just doesn't seem like it's ever going to go out of style. Google makes changes to their algorithms and how they measure popularity all the time, and how they measure rank all the time, but this always seems to be in style. Once again, don't spam. Don't take the same article and spam a bunch of different websites with them, or post them in a bunch of article sites. I'd put them on my own blog, or maybe see if you can be a contributing editor to someone else's blog, maybe write an article for them, have some links back to your site. But just use your article one time, and just get the word out there. Spend time writing it, and you will be rewarded with links. So another tip with link building, if you do have control over how the link is set up, you want to avoid situations where you're putting the link on words like click here or learn more. In this example, I just found a sentence from an article where they talked about a new online marketing certificate program at the University of San Diego, and they were trying to promote this program. And the bad example would be to, put the sentence out there and then learn more here, and then have the link be set up on learn more here. It's just not taking full advantage of your keyword opportunities. When you can put keywords in your links, that's even better. When you can put the same or similar keywords in your links that you're focusing on the page it points to, that's completely ideal. That's what you want. It doesn't always have to be exact. It can be all different variations, but that's what you want. You want your keywords in your link. Yeah, and we're coming up to a conclusion here, but I just wanted to put it out there that there are 16.2 billion searches conducted every month, and there's no reason why everyone can't have a small piece of the pie. There are still so many more opportunities left with SEO. I see sites every day that are not taking full advantage of the SEO opportunities, or their keywords, or their listings. And I've seen it time and time again. I've worked with many sites in the past that if you just put in even a fair amount of SEO on your website and be consistent, take your time, be patient, play by the rules, it will definitely help grow your traffic. And that's it.
That was great. I did find it really interesting listening to some of the tips on good SEO that apply to email marketing. A lot of what you talked about also is good for good email marketing. Know where your links are going. Right. Don't buy lists, or don't buy links. Use keywords. don't be deceiving. So it was really interesting. I'll use alt text on your images. Those are things we talk about all the time in our webinars.